I don't know why, but the perfect early 20th century bleakness of this doctor's office is one of my favorite sets in this show.
Yeah, ours too. The amount of rigging that exists when they're shooting the film is pretty extraordinary. Things had to be what they said, perfectly imperfect, dirty, and kind of, so they didn't look too perfect, but just right.
Well, Guillermo even said that the imperfections are what make the animation tactile to the viewer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you could make it perfect, you could make it more perfect, but you're just pushing away.
Yeah, and he wanted the animation to look real and not just like pantomime. So the characters think, you can feel them thinking and listening in the film.
Yeah.
As Guillermo says, it's a film about puppets told by puppets. So it's part of it. We should point out the dragon frame screen here.
Yeah.
All the animators work with a screen like this, and they've kind of replicated one for us. And you can see the animator performing the gesture that they're about to animate. Yes.
Oh, yes, right.
Animators are assigned because of their ability to perform and animate certain kinds of actions.
Right. Each one might have a specialty.
Actually, and they're cast that way. And
oh, wow.
They're kind of cast for certain scenes. As Mark Gustafson says, they wanted to bring performance back to animation. Yeah. So there you see the animators performing the movements.
So the animators are performing the movements of the characters they then will be animating.
Yes.
I can't imagine any better way. It's already in their bodies.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, they used to rotoscope back in the Disney days, of course, or animate over. But this is a very fine evolution of that notion that you're actually, when you stop motion is something like comes from that.
I really appreciate you calling out the lighting in this because before you showed up, I spent about 5 minutes staring at the set and didn't notice the lighting. So I really appreciate you bringing the rigging into every one of these pieces.
Yeah, and that's exactly the way it would be rigged with the right over the set like that.
Now we've been hearing this little noise here in the background of this room, and I want to talk about what it is because it's actually, to my mind, a really beautiful noise. You've included a motion control camera in motion here.
Yes.
When I see the animation from Pinocchio that this recorded, I can't believe how much movement there is in every character.
Every character, yes, has to be moved.
Every single one. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 or 15 characters in one frame.
That's why a lot of these time-lapse videos in this show are 3 or 4 months worth of work on one scene. They're not just one day or one afternoon, they're weeks.
Ron, talk to me about this piece. What is this?
This is Volpe's wagon. And in the film, you really don't go into it very much. You don't see much of it. But it's a jewel box of extraordinary detail.
It really
and actually moving detail.
Really?
The monkey, the main character, Spazzatore, his relatives' heads are mounted on the wall back in the corner. So there's a lot of narrative detail in this wagon.
And it doesn't get a big scene in the film.
No, he opens the door a few times, you see him in there, but it all goes by very quickly. That's why so much in this exhibition you don't get a chance to see in the actual film.
Right. And the number of objects in here is incredible. Oh my gosh, the violin. The idea of Spazzatore's relatives' heads being on the wall is so freaking creepy.
It is. That's the evil Volpe's attitude towards his sidekick, basically.
Yeah.
The Volpe character was originally Menchifuko character. They changed the character. This was the interior of the wagon. There's a lot of detail, including coming up with color.
The color palette.
Should be, incredible.
The other thing is I know the pleasure that the artisans had in every single piece, in every bit of dirt on the violin or the books or the posters. A kid will look at this and be like, oh, I see how this is built. This isn't a black wall with a hole in it and I have no idea how this happened. People made this and that's a hug almost, right?